Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parents. In today's episode, am I entitled for telling my step-granddaughter and her mom the truth about my daughter's home? My mother demands expensive gifts for her birthday and Christmas. Entitled parent demands her kid be basically told the answers in school rather than the kids that need it. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Am I entitled for telling my step-granddaughter and her mom the truth about my daughter's home? Oh, and she didn't want her dad on my grandkids' birth certificates, which is none of her business. Her mom and her told my son-in-law he could be with the kids he had with my daughter, but for my daughter not to name him as the legal father. The mom comes from a religious family where they don't believe in divorce. But as I stated, I've spoken to the mom's dad and he was as pleasant as could be and said his wife is responsible for most of their insane behavior. I also told him how my son-in-law has asked for DNA and his daughter always refuses. Apparently she's told them another mate named Matt is the candidate for the dad. If that is the case, then she's not only a religious hypocrite but needs to leave my family alone. The mom has also demanded that my grandkids not be included in any of my son-in-law's families will or inherit anything, as the girl is the oldest and should have it all. First she said I was being unfair by not being equal, but doesn't want my grandkids to inherit anything either, so I guess feelings run both ways. Another fact, the mom's parents have plenty, they own a nice home on the lake, the girl is their only grandchild, so she will inherit plenty if her mom doesn't squander it away or beat her out of it. I've spoken to the mom's dad and he agrees things are best kept separate, that he didn't expect me or my daughter to provide for this kid. The mom didn't want the girl at my daughter's wedding, didn't want my grandson in the home during visits when he was born, constantly makes demands for vacations and trips I've offered to contribute towards ECT. The kid throws tantrums if things don't go her way. She broke my granddaughter's tablet last year because she wanted it even though she'd just gotten a new phone. The mom expects my relatives like my sisters and others to buy whatever they get for my grandkids for the girl, even if she's too old for said item. My sisters get her something, but they don't have to. Again, she's 12 or 13 at the most and she's taken my daughter's phone and held it under the tap threatening to turn water on it because she didn't get the same phone even though I bought my daughter the phone. I got backlash for that too because I pried it from her hands instead of allowing her to destroy it. She will make her siblings stop whatever they're doing to give it to her. She's hit my grandson in the head so hard he's had to be taken to the emergency room. Question: I think it's better she hear the truth now so alternate arrangements can be made for her housing and education instead of her finding out at 17/18. I think that is more cruel to let her think she has a share in the home and tell her when she's starting her life that she doesn't. I tried to post in Ida but it wouldn't allow me to do so. I am 50, have a daughter who was married. My Sil has a child from his previous marriage, a girl who is 12. My daughter has 2 children with my Sil. My daughter lives in a home that I gave her when she turned 18. My Sil rented his home out to his mom and sister and moved in with my daughter. Extra income, my daughter's home is larger. Anyway, my Sil daughter comes to visit on the weekend and I'll be honest, I don't much like the kid because of her attitude. There is always some type of drama with her or her mom. It's keeping her happy constantly or nobody is. This past weekend I went over to my daughter's to return a weed eater I'd borrowed as mine broke and I didn't have time to fix it. I ordered another one, but borrowed theirs in the meantime. My son-in-law's daughter was there when I dropped it off and my daughter was cleaning. My daughter is a neat freak, but so was her mom and mom's mother. My son-in-law's daughter was on the sofa with her phone in her face and my daughter asked her to please switch seats so she could vacuum the sofa. She didn't even have to leave the room, just literally moved to a chair. My step-granddaughter rolled her eyes and huffed before going back to her phone. Now maybe I shouldn't have interjected myself into this, but my daughter was going to vacuum around her and I got angry, very angry. I told my son-in-law's daughter to get up, that an adult had told her to do something and she needed to do it. I told her when you're in my daughter's home you'll do as you're told. The girl got an attitude and said it was her dad's house too because he married my daughter. Maybe this is where I should have stayed silent but didn't. I told her no, it actually wasn't, that all the paperwork stated my daughter was given the home by me and my son-in-law had signed a piece of paper saying he wanted no ownership rights to the home because he had his own. I told her in no circumstances would she even be an owner of this home. And maybe I shouldn't have said what I did, but again I was angry. I told her that my daughter's children would inherit the home and she wouldn't, and that they'd also have a say to their dad's home. So essentially they didn't have to share with her, but she did with them. Cue a big argument. My daughter isn't angry with me, nor is my son-in-law, but the girl's mom is very angry because she feels her kid should be part of the deed transfer to the home and the furniture. The mom said it's wrong of us not to be equal and that it's not right my daughter's kids get the bigger share. I told her tough. The kid's mom demanded my daughter change the papers and I told her I'm the only one who can do that. I told her mom I didn't really want her back in the home but couldn't stop her from coming, but that she needs to understand she is a guest in the home, not a full-time tenant. I told my son-in-law if you have any issues then you can visit with her in the home you own, but she won't continue to disrespect mine or my daughters. My son-in-law agreed. The girl's mom's family said I'm being hateful towards a child. Frankly, I don't think she is my son-in-law's. There have been requests for DNA and the mom always has an excuse or reason not to do it. My son-in-law is suspicious as well. My son-in-law is talking about letting his mother buy his home and some additional property, so if he does that then the girl will get even less. Not entitled. You let her know that she shouldn't expect to get anything, and TBH, nobody should ever expect anything from anyone. The mom is highly entitled and clearly teaching the little one to do the same. The child's attitude says it all. She is fortunate she is able to just lounge around and be on her phone. Most parents would have their children helping. Yes, why is she allowed to just sit there? If there's cleaning to do, everyone who lives there should be responsible for some of it. Nope, son-in-law's ex has no business butting her head into your daughter's home. He needs to take the girl and get the DNA test done. You don't need the mom's consent to get a DNA test. Just order the test. It's not his business. I hope this is just for clicks. 12-year-olds are ill-equipped to deal with hate-filled adults. Not entitled for not wanting to pass the house down since you're not related to her, but I think it was pretty unnecessary of you to take your emotions out on a sales daughter. She's 12. She's going to be unpleasant at times. You're a grown man. You're allowed to be upset or frustrated or even not like the child, but you as an adult in this child's life need to learn to regulate your emotions. And whether you like it or not, you are one of her models for how to handle emotions. There was no need for you to be mean to her, and it also wasn't your place. You already said you shouldn't have interjected, but I want to reiterate that. You're right. You shouldn't have said anything. Inheritance aside, which honestly, no one is entitled to, you had no business telling a 12-year-old she wasn't welcome in your daughter's home. If you gave your daughter that home, then only she is allowed to say who is or is not allowed in her home. You don't live there, so stay in your lane. She's 12. You don't talk to 12-year-olds that way. You certainly don't talk to someone else's child that way for being a typical 12-year-old. If you think your daughter and Sil aren't angry with you for opening this can of worms, think again. Thank you for your input. My son-in-law is not angry, he actually thought it was funny. He said the truth has been a long time zooming for these two. YTA. Not about the deed stuff, but being snotty is what 12-year-olds do, and you hailed a whole lot of hatred on that child. It was inappropriate. She's 12. She gets it. Daddy has a replacement family and step-granddaddy hates her. My mother demands expensive gifts for her birthday and Christmas. My mother demands expensive gifts for her birthday and Christmas. Every time the date approaches, she starts asking what she will get and when the delivery will arrive. Unfortunately, when the gift isn't expensive enough, she will throw a fit and make childish remarks such as, "You haven't tried hard enough this time." With this and your last access status on WhatsApp being off, it feels as if I didn't have a son. I live abroad and my in-laws are coming over to visit. Other remarks from her include: "You saved money on the gift this time because you want to spend them with your in-laws, right? Your in-laws get a concert and I only get flowers. I bet you're even going to pay dinner for them." The flowers refer to her last gift. "I once got her a nice bag a few years ago, and she keeps expecting that. Last year, I got a cheaper bag, €100, and she complained about it. Knowing that she will complain anyway and running out of ideas, I got her a nice bouquet this year. She's really crazy, entitled, and possibly a narcissist. Or not. How about getting her nothing? Tell her she can't appreciate what you do get her, then you won't get her anything. She's not entitled to expensive gifts. She needs to appreciate what you do give her. Even if you got her nothing, just the time to send her a card or talk to her on the phone, she should appreciate that. Every time I hear from my son, I count as a blessing. Anyone who demanded a gift from me would get nothing. Sounds like some gray rock should be her next present. My son has always had a gift for remembering things I expressed an interest in and buying them for Christmas. They weren't always expensive, but they were always meaningful to me. Your mother should be glad she even gets gifts, especially with her attitude. You would be well within your rights to tell her, since nothing I get you is ever good enough, I will no longer be giving you gifts. If you ever learn about gratitude, we can revisit this. And what universe does she live in that a purse costing €100 isn't expensive enough? And here I'd been content with a card with a handwritten note and a phone call. Seriously, kids, keep those coming. I love them and keep every single one. No more gifts till she can act like a big girl. She apparently needs to learn stuff most kids can figure out. Entitled parent demands her kid be basically told the answers in school rather than the kids that need it. So when in this school, certain kids get support, and those kids are usually ones which have mental issues like autism, ADHD, or if they have anger management issues, etc., etc. Anyway, this parent just decided that her child is so special that her kid should get support despite the fact there's nothing wrong with him. Now I help many kids with their issues, and too, at this time, I, 27F, was helping an autistic girl that left 5 to 10 minutes early. Sounds like useless info, but hold on to it. This woman came in and decided that her kid needed support, and the people in the office were more than happy, but they obviously asked, "So does your child have any mental disabilities?" This mother was so offended that the office lady even alluded to the idea that her dear sweet daughter had a mental disability. What? Are you trying to say that there's some sort of issue with my daughter? No ma'am, it's just that it's mostly only the children with mental disability. My child is not like those autistic kids. Now she, as you could expect, did not say autistic kids, and the office ladies were shocked at what entitled mother had just said. That. Ma'am, you cannot say that. Oh, I will absolutely get you in so much trouble if you do not get my angel this support. The EP went off on a rampage to this poor office lady who had basically just been hired cause I said she should get the job there, and she decided to get help for this parent. She got 3 people to help her fight back the demon of a parent, while this EP's poor daughter was so scared and looked like she was afraid that she would get in trouble. At this point, I was sad in music with the girl I was helping, but I got called to the office, which was annoying. I like some relaxed art, okay? Me, the head teacher and head of year 9, 10th grade I think, showed up. I was just there to explain how teaching assistants worked. Finally someone showed up. Ma'am, I'd like to inform you that while we respect your request, we cannot give your child this support. Oh, but the autistic kids can. Once again, didn't call them autistic kids. Why do all these kinds of people hate mentally disabled people? Genuine question. Now, I have mild autism myself, so I just stood there in shock and confusion. Sadly, the EP had the usual blow up and security was called to kick the EP out. However, this EP refused to leave till the security grabbed her by the arms and dragged her out as the child was on the verge of tears, thinking she was in trouble. As I was calming the daughter down, all that was heard was, "Get off of me. My daughter needs that support." The daughter looked at me and said, Don't worry. I don't dash. Yes, you do. The daughter then ran off to her mother as we all kind of laughed and shook our heads. Sadly, she would come back, but I really don't have the mental capacity to write a 4,000 character story currently, and I doubt anyone would read it. I do feel bad for the daughter and office lady though. The daughter probably didn't ask, but just saw one of us helping a kid, and the office lady had been there for like 3 weeks. Anyway, what do you all think of this situation? I wonder if the daughter could have special services to help her grow up normal with those parents. Ma'am, we've decided to reverse our decision. Clearly having you as a parent is a severe handicap, worse than even severe autism. Is there another parent to get involved? Maybe they know she's a monster. That poor kid needs help. I'd get the parent trespassed from the property. Hard for her kid, and it's a slippery slope for her future. It is also obvious that EP has no understanding at all about autism or other disorders which can require educational assistance. If anyone was wondering, yes, the EP and autistic girl have met, and yes, she had a mental breakdown over her. I wish I had this kind of support when I was a kid, but I was only diagnosed a couple years ago at 31, and even then support like this didn't really exist anyway. Luckily my daughter just started getting some in-school support now. I hope she'll have a happier school life than I did. What people don't always realize is that this support isn't needed because neurodivergent people aren't as smart or intelligent as their neurotypical counterparts. It's because the world, including schools, is structured to cater to neurotypical people, so neurodiverse people sometimes struggle because they may need to learn in a different way. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.